quick hit. Nice and square. So day 3, getting some product moved over onto our little cart. Being able to get it to the other side of the project without marring up the pavers. We got non-marring wheels on that little cart. Makes it pretty slick. You're just able to simply shuttle those products across easily. We'll get them right close to our workstation. So got a little more cutting to do today. We're going to get some edging in on the far side, and then we actually have some turf going in on that far side, a little strip. It's the turf for animals, whatnot. They do have a dog. It's small property, so makes it a great little spot. So be an exciting day. We're gonna have a lot of fun. So I'm gonna do a quick adjustment. As I'm picking product off of a pallet, I'm up a little bit higher. So I'm gonna lower this down just to get a little bit shorter, and that'll be helpful so that I'm not, wrenching my shoulders way up high. I can at least just pick normal and then drop it down a little bit lower. So just a quick pin system here. I'm just pulling this. I can drop it down. And then I have a little screw here. I can tighten this up, and that takes away any play. When you want that fine adjustment when you're setting your products into place, you want to be able to be real precise, and that helps with that. I also have here our T-handle extension. So we're going to show just if you have a project like this, you only have our T-handle, this is a great option to be able to make it a 2-man lift. It has this little locking tab here. So as I drop it over the top, I pull it back, turn it quarter turn, slide it. That locks it in so I'm not going to lose it. And when I pick up, it saddles in that little channel and makes it really stable. So you'll notice we're picking on a little bit of an angle here. That allows me to stand on pavers, Brooke to stand on pavers. Nice drop and click, and then a release. This is one project we're going to be doing over the course of 3.5 days. We'll also be moving on to another project. But make sure you subscribe below, turn on the notifications. This will allow you to get this content and help you be successful. I know. That's because I'm old. That's what happens when you're old. Let the kids do all the work. Go this one over here. I'll get the valve if that suits your fancy. I'm just giving you the practice that you need. Huh? Did you hear that? This young lady said hardscapers can actually have fun. Light bulbs not go off.
All right, so we need to use the angle scribes here to get our points around this column. Our column isn't exactly square with our pattern, so we're going to use the angle scribes because they're going to help us get that angle. So push that up against there, and then we'll find our angle. All right, nice and tight. We'll tighten this knob up. And now I just need to put this in the same position on the block as I am here. Now, the sleeve comes down. It's going to cover this little gap here. And we have to make a horseshoe piece, so we have to actually come to this side of it as well. So we're going to leave this spot open because we're going to need a horseshoe somewhere. And we're going to come over to our product. We'll place it on here, and we're going to line it up in the same position that we had it on that block, which is even with this. Okay, and now I can make that mark. So now that's that mark there. I'm gonna come over to here on this side now, and I'm gonna put it to this corner of the block. I'm gonna extend this out. If I can find this angle. All right, once I find that angle, I'll tighten this piece back up. I'm gonna come over to my product. And again, I'm gonna line it up with that corner because that's where I got that corner piece from. And I'm gonna make my mark. Now, I do need to continue those marks here. So I can do so either with this. I can use a level, but might as well use the same tool if possible. That mark there. And then I have to get the piece along the back. We can put this along the back side of here. Okay. And now I can go off of this point up top here. This might be just a little bit tricky because I don't have an exact point to hit here. Tighten that up, find that angle there. Now I'm off of this point here, all right, and I can make this mark. So now I can double check. I can do just a quick check on my math to make sure. Okay, should be roughly 2. That's perfect. It's gonna give us a nice 1/8 inch gap. And it's gonna give us an 1/8 inch gap because this here measures 1/8 of an inch here. Check here. Perfect. There's 7 1/4, 7 1/4. Perfect. Alrighty.
First try, I could go out.
Our large slab is another alternative when it comes to moving large format pavers. This might be on a little bit the small side. This will go all the way up to 43 inches, but it's a simple process of pulling the pins and being able to just slide this in. So I pick the arm up, slide it in. I'm going to want to leave just a little bit of play here. It does have a nice little fine adjustment here, so I can set that back in. You'll notice also this height, these are fine adjustment pads. It's nylon, so it's actually real protective. So even a product like this, it really is awesome because you can keep this down. So I'll just adjust my height. I want to come up here about 1/4 of an inch high. I do want to be able to grab that product and set it up against my last laid product without pinching the metal, and we can show how that works. So there, that's going to allow me 1/4 of an inch. I'm actually going to go even a little bit higher on this. And it's just a matter of tightening this down. So if I bring that back, that gives me about 1/2 inch right here that I can butt up against my last laid paver. I'm going to set my other side the same way. Simple and quick to adjust, and once you adjust it for the job, you're set. It's not something you're going to continually adjust back and forth. Make sure that I'm level across here, which looks good. I've done my adjustment this way. I do have a little bit of counterweight because of the weight here. My locking device is here, and this is just weighted, so it's automatically going to lock. I pick it up off my product, but to grab the product, I'm going to pick up here, and I want to make sure I'm picking up in the center of the product. So then it's just a matter of pulling this pin, sliding this to the center, and locking it in. And this might take a little adjustment to see where we're at. Just like I said, we have this extra steel out the end, so it's offsetting that counterweight. I am going to move these up. Again, very simple process to just spin these up. Do the same on the other side, and unscrew each one individually. Tighten that down. Do my other one. Tighten that down. I'm ready to go. So the person that's operating the clamp, they're just going to pull this back, and I'm going to be able to pick the product up, then we can go install it. So that's the way it's going to hang. So I come onto my product, just a matter of guiding it on there, dropping it, pull the pin back, pick it up. So again, we're going to shuttle it over onto our caddy here. And what's nice about this, it automatically is going to lock there. And then just a matter of grabbing that tail, pick it up. So you can move really quick and efficient on a job site. For setting this, It's a less expensive way than vacuum. I'd say the one challenge you do have with clamp systems when it comes to laying slabs is if you have an issue, you're not going to be able to pull it out because of the thickness of the metal. So that is the one drawback you have. However, if you do your job perfect the first time, you won't have that problem. There is a little hole on top of that little locking tab, so you could actually put a lanyard on that, a string lanyard. Gonna flip these over. Again, this is the way these are shipped from Florida. And again, this is a delicate product. The color is extremely white, so you gotta be careful for marring and etching when it comes to these products. So we built the tabs out on this product so that when you're setting it in, just a matter of bringing that back, you can see the steel there, and it's just a matter of releasing it. It makes it really easy to install and less expensive than vacuum. So it is an option. Ergo Assist attached to our slab. We can simply grab the product. And a little trick when you're doing it, I'm going to be the one controlling the drop and click, but I'm going to hold it there and then Mitch push down so that released it. So that way there you don't get the metal pinched between it. He's also going to do the picking up. So he picks up, gets a little bit of tension on it that we can both pick. So when I come over again, the drop and click, we're up against it, and that's all he's doing is he's just pushing down, and I keep holding my end up. It makes it really cool. Otherwise, you can pinch the metal pretty easily. So drop, come in with my end, he pushes down. Again, the clamps are super fast, super efficient for installation. However, if you got to pull a product out, that's where you really can be challenged a little bit. Hold on, Mitch. I get an awkward position here, okay? Release. Just a little tip or a trick. This particular setup, it's right in the middle of the patio. I don't have a hammer drill or a hole saw, so it's going to make it a little bit of a challenge to try to get this cut out. So I want to show you ways that you can get around that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to mark my top. So I'm exactly 14 inches off. So I'm going to be in this vicinity here with that side of it. If I measure here, I am 6 7/8 exact. So 6 7/8. Right, I'm going to mark this over here because this is, my hole is here now. Try to find something that's approximately the right circumference. So this here is just a little bit bigger. So hold this and I can mark this out. I'm only going to be needing this afterwards. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually trace this down below and make a square. So I'm going to need my measurements. So if I come from this edge again, I'm 14. This edge again, I'm 6 7/8. So if I flip this over, I'm going to come 14 here, and I'm going to be 6 7/8 from this side. I flipped it over, 6 7/8, and 14 again. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. Line that up, line that up. I can make my circle here. Now I'll show you where the trick comes in. I'm going to saw cut here. I'm going to saw cut here. I'm going to saw cut here, and I'm going to saw cut there. I'm also going to intersect these angles at a 45. What I want to do, another neat trick I really want to point out, my paver is exactly 2 inches. My paver is exactly 2 inches. I want to make a mark on this blade at 1 7/8. So if I take my marker, I measure in 1 7/8. Make a spot right there. I want to pull this up here by my guard on that mark, hold it nice and tight. I've made that mark around here at 1 7/8. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut all these lines, 1 7/8. That's going to leave me an 1/8 inch away from the top surface, and then we'll show you the trick. This is where the magic starts. So I've made 8 cuts underneath there. So we want to make sure that we're hollow underneath here. But all I'm going to do now is just set this circle here. And what I want to do, and again, you're going to laugh because I'm just using this hose nozzle, but that's what I had that matched the diameter, just something I found on the job. All I'm going to do now is give it a quick hit. Nice and square. So to have my hole there, it punched out that back side. Again, this is a little caveman style, but years ago, we did a lot of this. So this is the true test, if I did my math right. We're going to drop this over the top, slide her down through. Sometimes I amaze myself. So if I was just to take a measurement anywhere and measure off there 16 inches, I'd probably have these spots where it would be binding. So just pulling a dry line here, we want to make sure that we hit those high spots. The other option would be to saw cut the entire back of the cap, which I don't think is really going to make sense on this particular project. So we're going to hit the high spots, and then we'll obviously have the material to sweep into the joint. And then we'll just measure off this, our 16 inches, snap a chalk line. We really should pull that line along that, make sure that that outside row is straight too before we cut it. Fun? He just took the skin off my knuckles. You call that fun? He thinks he's funny. If it ain't perfect, it ain't good enough. And again, just a light plink. No, I don't want no heavy plinking.
Okay, I'll give it a light plink. I just gave it a light plinker.
Oh, look.
Okay, we'll get this. You're gonna show how to hook this up quick. So behind me, we're gonna cut with the Dust X with the boot. However, if we have like radius curves, stuff like that, we're trying to get real intricate where we want to score it first. A lot of times what I will do is just use a small light saw like this, your battery powered. I'll fire up the Dust X and then just have another individual follow me down. So I'm just going to do a short little section to show what that looks like. And then from there we're going to use the boot. So I just want to point out, if you're not comfortable with actually running the saw with the boot for your first time on a saw, it is helpful to just score it first, lightly, just like I just did, and then go back with the saw with the boot on it. To hook the boot up, you're just simply sliding that flange right over the top. So we'll get started again, and then I'll show you what it looks like using the boot and how awesome that is, not having to have a second person hold that line for you.
So when you're running down through here, screeding, this was our last point, so we just kind of scooped up what we had left, and sometimes it ended up a little bit lower than it needed to be. So we're gonna go down through there and just make sure that we're good. We set this to 2 3/4, or 1 3/4, sorry, because we have a 2-inch paver, and we're gonna allow for just a little bit of compaction. I'm taking just a broom here, cleaning off our product. If you're gonna take the stones and grind it in, you're gonna scratch the product. So we're just going nice and easy here. And we're just gonna run down through here with some stone. And I'm just gonna hit the point that we screeded to out there. Neat down through here. And that's just a little bit more right in here.
So we're just starting to sweep in here. We've gotten everything all straightened out, everything leveled up. Little transition here, which makes it a little bit challenging with your large slabs. You probably pick up on that just a little bit, but everything else is set, ready to go. And we have here just some light colored beach sand. Again, this homeowner is from Florida, and this is pretty much the standard practice they do down there. And that was what he chose to fill in the joints. He likes the light color. And the light pavers, you do have to be careful with some of your polymeric sands. It can stain your edges a little bit. So that was one of his concerns, and they've seen that in Florida. A little bit of staining rim around the paver. So we've chosen to use just the straight, basically white masonry sand. We'll get that swept in and compacted. You'll notice here I'm using my 3-foot screeder package. It's a nice way to get the product down fast. And again, with that scoop on it, with the blade being angled back, you don't have to really exert a lot of pressure. It grabs a nice amount of material, stretches it out. And of course, this sand a lot of time comes and it's a little bit damp, so it makes it a little bit challenging. So to be able to spread it out like this quickly and easily, get it bulked in. Remember also, you always want to go at a 45-degree across your joints when sweeping in. That speeds up that process.
All right, so what we're working on here is getting our base set for our artificial turf that's going to be going in here. We're gonna need about 3/4 of an inch down from the top of the pavers for the turf, plus an inch of a bedding layer. So same exact practices as our pavers. So we're gonna be down 1 3/4 of an inch. So what's cool here is I have our maxi gauge with our maxi screed set, and I'm using the 4-foot length for in between here because we have a little bit over 4 feet. And I'm setting my height on these maxi gauges to 1 3/4 using this little knob here. So I'll tighten this down to get it to exactly where it needs to be. So I'm 1 3/4, I'm where I need to be. 1 3/4 on that end. And again, these screeds here just slide in and out. You can take them off, right? Slide them in, and we can adjust the width of it. So once we set it on here, we can adjust that width and give myself a little bit of room and tighten that right down onto the screed board set. Okay, so as we get that set, we see we have a little bit of a gap, need a little bit of gravel or stone in between there. Alrighty, so it's the end of day 3. We have wrapped up the patio, swept it in with sand. Today we spent a lot of our time cutting, getting everything perfect, adjusting lines, pulling out pieces, readjusting pieces. So we did a lot of that, just kind of small detail work. But again, everything's all cut, ready to go. We started sweeping in. We have a final sweep off yet to do here. And then we also based out and got ready for our artificial turf in the back there. So you can see we based out underneath of it. We screeded 1-inch bedding layer of stone, and we're starting to lay down that artificial turf. We do have to finish getting that cut in at a later date. But again, we're ready to go on that. And it's nice because we'll leave that laid out there so it stays flat for us. That's really a wrap for day 1. We're getting everything cleaned out of here. It's really a wrap for day 3, sorry, feels like day 1. We are getting our pallets out of here, getting our machine out of here, cleaning our job site up a little bit, and we'll be back for our final day of details and cleanup.
Thank you for watching. Hopefully you found this useful and beneficial. Be sure to subscribe below, turn on your notifications. We will continue to upload the rest of the videos from this project as well as future projects to come. You can sign up for our tip of the week here.
You can watch more of our videos here.
You can subscribe to our YouTube channel here.
And make sure you shop our products at pavetool.com.
If you're located in Canada, you can shop at pavetool.ca.
Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. Looking forward to seeing you next Friday.